Network.
From his Central Texas Command Center, deep behind enemy lines, the information war continues. It's Alex Jones and the GCN Radio Network.
All right, let's go right back to your phone calls and move quickly through them. We're talking about the latest so-called mass shooting. Actually, it was a stabbing, 3 dead from stabbing. Now, to me, that's the big angle here, is that media ignores the fact that 30+% of the deaths in the latest rampage were a knife. Media ignores knife in Santa Barbara killings. I mean, that's the bottom line there. Let's go ahead and talk to JD in California. You're on the air. Give us your take on this.
Hey, Alex.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to bring up, have you heard about the connection between James Holmes' father, Adam Lanza's father? Were both executives. Adam Lanza's was in GE, and they're supposed to testify in the LIBOR scandal?
Yes, the fixing of interest rates in Europe, that is true. And it's all very creepy. I don't know what we can draw from it. How about all 3 mass shootings have a big connection to the Hunger Games?
That's what I'm saying. You know, all 3 of these had their fathers are, you know, muckety mucks.
I don't know. You know, coincidences happen. I don't know. What do you think?
I don't know. But let me tell you something real quick. I've been trying to get on for a long time. I got to tell you something about Star Wars, man, the Star Wars program. I got a direct connection to one of the surviving members. And they're telling me stuff about sound harmonics and things like that and wave technologies. And they said that one of the first things they did was they put working gills on a rabbit, a full-grown rabbit. They didn't have to work from fetus. You know, they put it on a living adult rabbit with sound harmonics and wave technology. They could put working gills on a rabbit in less than 2 weeks.
Well, I know they've done a bunch of stuff with animals and dolphins and rabbits and all sorts of secretive stuff. So I'd like to see the proof of that and not just a statement. They should go public and talk about it.
He tries, but he says he's been attacked by, you know, directed energy weapons.
Yeah, there's also a lot of schizophrenics out there. So just
this guy's a real member, bud.
Okay, well, I appreciate your call. No, I hear you. I mean, my issue is, for 30 years, they've had human clones that they kill at the embryonic stage. It's in all the medical literature. No one seems to care. They've had humanzees. They say they have no rights because they're not a chimpanzee, they're not a human. They've had dogs that are part jellyfish, cats that are part jellyfish, goats that are part spider for 25 years, remote control cockroaches with brain chips 30 years ago. I mean, I know that's all out there. There's so much proven geoengineering, weather modification, that no one ever wants to hear about when it's like in the news. And then it's just always somebody calling in saying, hey, I heard this or I heard that, but never giving a source or anything. But I'm not criticizing you. I'm just saying, I'm not saying you're full of bull. It's just that it's like Emergency Centers Establishment Act is real. The Civilian Inmate Labor Camp program is real. Rex 84, Operation Garden Plot, Cable Splicer. Those are all the real FEMA camp plans that have been in the Miami Herald, you name it. No one cares when I covered it. It's like it means nothing because it's real and bona fide. But if it's, I got a cousin who heard there's a FEMA camp, you know, out back the sports stadium, and everybody runs around, you know, oh my God, it's incredible. I don't understand it. And I'm not saying that I mean, look, if somebody's already gone rogue from one of these secret programs, they might as well just tell it or they get killed. You know, it's like there's some people that, oh, I know about the secret programs, you know, of putting gills on a rabbit with sound systems. They would do that surgically. How does sound technology put gills in a rabbit? And then you said, well, they don't even do it embryonically or they don't even genetically engineer it. Well, that would be how you would want to do it to have it work properly. So, I mean, maybe it's true. I was just saying I'd like to see something to do with that. But again, the big topic we're covering here today is 3 stabbed, 4 shot to death. Why is the media not making a big deal out of knives and banning them? And should we all collectively turn our knives in to prove we're not bad people? All right, I'm going to try to get to everybody. Brian, Rob, Joseph, Bill, Jesse, Ronnie, Jerry, Peter, Patricia, and everybody. We're going to your call straight ahead. The toll-free number to join us, Got a couple open lines. Is 877-789-2539. The globalists have controlled the mainstream media for a long time, but now they're expanding and making the weaponization even more vicious and deceptive. All the major networks are state-run.
We are partnering this year with the NFL.
The NFL has become a political weapon against the Second Amendment and pushes Obamacare. MSNBC tells us that our children belong to the state.
We have to break through our kind of private idea that kids belong to their parents or kids belong to their families and recognize that kids belong to whole communities.
It is more important than ever to realize that we are not the alternative media. We are the true media. The establishment dinosaur press is dying.
We are in an information war, and we are losing that war.
Join us at InfoWarsNews.com and PrisonPlanet.tv. Members can share their memberships with up to 11 people. By subscribing, you will literally be buying war bonds in the info war to expand our operation in the face of the tyrants. Join us at PrisonPlanet.tv.
The earth, riches, and wisdom. So we have even right there.
What's his name?
This is an emergency transmission from FEMA Region 6 in occupied North America.
There is a war. It's happening now. It will decide the fate of humanity. The time to choose sides has come. We are the resistance. We are the info war. You are tuned in to the original live broadcasting worldwide 25th day of May 2014 Sunday edition. We also have the weekday live transmission, and that is 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Central, 12 noon to 3 p.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. to 12 noon Pacific, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Mountain. Did you hear about Elliot Rodger, the son of the Hunger Games assistant director, who drove a brand new BMW and was under psychiatric care? I told you this in the first hour, last hour. I said I bet money he was on psychiatric drugs and under mental care. It's now being reported by the Daily Mail and others that indeed he was under psychiatric care for, quote, Asperger's and other things. So guaranteed on drugs, just guaranteed. Always the same. But doesn't matter if the Prozac family of drugs and others say on the insert can make you commit mass murder, megalomania, narcissistic complete psychosis. Doesn't matter if the inserts for Luvox and literally dozens of these drugs all say the same thing. Doesn't matter. I will be blamed, and CNN, MSNBC, the Southern Poverty Law Center, the usual suspects, and even some of the parents of the victims are now blaming the Second Amendment and saying, how dare you, we've got to ban the guns. The NRA are to blame. You're craven, you're evil. I played the clips last hour. Here's Richard Menendez, whose son was reportedly shot. Our family has a message for every parent out there. You don't think it will happen to your child until it does. Well, yeah, more kids die in car wrecks literally hundreds of times than by guns. We ban cars. If somebody kills somebody with a car, is it my fault? Do I get blamed? Why did Chris die? Chris died because of craven, irresponsible politicians and the NRA. They talk about gun rights. What about Chris's right to live? Well, what about my right to not be blamed for your son's death? Again, I'm sorry for your loss, but I didn't do it in this politically correct world, okay? There's lower crime in areas with more guns in good people's hands. 7 people died. 3 of them were stabbed to death, the police say. What is that, 40%? What's the exact math, guys? Do the, divide that. What percentage is 3 out of 7? I know it's a fraction. Is it like 37% or something? Look it up for me. I didn't do good math in school, plus I can't, walk and chew gum or broadcast and do math. But we're talking close to 40% of them were killed with a knife, and you're not hearing anything about that. It's all guns, guns. Everybody who has knives out there, I'll tell you what, if you want to blame guns for this and you're an anti-gun person, 42%, okay. So it was, okay, good. So 42%. 3 out of 7 is 42%. See, I was just guesstimating lows. I don't want to exaggerate. 42%, that's the headline. 42% of the California people killed in the massacre. Knives killed 40+% in California massacre. And so if you will come turn in all your guns and all your knives and anything to sharpen your house and baseball bats and golf clubs, they kill thousands a year. I want it all banned. Tire irons, I want everything. I want your fist banned. They kill thousands of years. Chop your hands off. Turn in all your knives. And then I'll say, you know what? I'll turn my guns in. That's how asinine all this is. I want to take your phone calls on this subject. Are you going to take the blame for this, America, or are you sick of it? Let's talk to Brian in El Paso. Go ahead.
Alex, how you doing today?
Good. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, Alex, just wanted to tell you how much I agree with you. Armed individuals proficient in the use of a weapon are the only chance for this thing to stop. It's the only way you can prevent mass shootings. That's been shown over and over again. I was a federal agent for 13 years after separating from the military, working in the so-called drug war. And I reached that conclusion that, legalization, taxation of drugs was the way to go. And my whole thing with this was I always tell people, I tell individuals when I get into this discussion about firearms, I say, even if you don't believe in the ultimate necessity for the people to have weapons to be able to take control back from an out-of-control tyrannical government, even if you don't believe that, think about this for 1 minute. I worked in the drug war, okay? There was no way we were able to stop, even without talking about the government's involvement, things the government was doing, moving drugs themselves. There was no way we could stop the rogue organizations that were bringing the amount of drugs into the United States that they were.
Because by making it illegal, it jacked up the price.
Well, yeah, of course. They're making money on it. But the whole point on this discussion with regards to the weapons, if we outlawed the sale, the manufacture, possession, transfer of all weapons by civilian populace, right now, today, there would be a black market that would spring up overnight, and I'm not talking about the one our government runs. I'm talking about other ones for profit.
No, exactly. See, England could ban guns, and their crime rate went up tenfold when they did over the last 20 years. But you're right. They never had a gun culture. You got 400+ million new manufactured guns since 1950, estimated in the country. You're never getting rid of them.
That's exactly right. And it's the whole thing, when you get down to that point, you realize, look, the guns are going to be in the hands, and by definition, if we outlaw the possession of guns, then the only people that are going to have those guns are who? People who are outside the law.
Right? What do you make of this guy? I mean, I bet money, he reportedly drove around for like 30 minutes shooting people. I bet money if he did this in El Paso or in Dallas, Texas, within 10 minutes, a concealed carry would have killed him. The cops got there because they had guns. Good job for them. But, 10 minutes? He went around reportedly for 30 minutes shooting people.
10's on the high side. I'd give him about 5 to 7.
Yeah.
If he was anywhere in my neighborhood, I'd give him 30 seconds.
Well, that happens all the time in high gun ownership areas. You'll have the police in a shootout, and then somebody will just shoot the guy shooting at the cops from behind for the police. That happens every week, but you never hear about it.
Absolutely.
You never hear about it.
Well, this whole thing, Alex, this guy, he's obviously, as you say, he's disturbed on a whole bunch of levels. But the truth of the matter is, when you see this little dweeb, and I can imagine what this was with this guy. He's talking about, I'm supposed to be having sex with women. It wasn't a woman. This wasn't about, he was crazy about this one woman, and that's who his heart was. No. It was just about, it's a rite of passage. I'm supposed to be in college. I'm supposed to be just getting...
No, he was a spoiled brat that saw women as objects or possessions and would say, I walk up to do sexual acts and they don't want it. Exactly. I mean, what about his parents? I mean, they obviously didn't teach him anything. I mean, I don't want to blame his parents, but it's pretty sick.
It is sick, and it's almost to the level of, you look at somebody saying, and whenever I was watching this YouTube video that you put up on your show, and I'm seeing this little kid, and it dweeb, whatever, they twerp. He's sitting in this car and saying he's going to be a god. When I hear that, first of all, what goes into my mind right off the bat, I'm going, there's nobody saying that kind of thing to my way of thinking. They're blaspheming. That's what that is, okay?
Well, they're on a power trip, completely out of his mind.
Satan, man. It comes from Satan, okay? And that's what that's about.
No, you're right. He was like possessed. I mean, he was saying, I'm God, I'm God. Who thinks like that? I could play a bunch of clips of the elite. That's about it. Great points. We're going to come back and go to a bunch of calls now. That was a great caller right there. But Rob, everybody get ready. I'm coming back to you. Thank you, Brian in El Paso. By the way, I had heard yesterday.